if you want to get out of Ohio, you got to do something crazy. Like the Wright brothers who built a plane to get the hell out of
To fly out. Get out of here, so literally.
What are some things that people should stay away from when buying a car, like some red flags about a dealership, about a salesperson?
The biggest thing that you can do to protect yourself is just go read the review.
A car that makes me look good but doesn't cost a lot of money.
It's definitely a Mercedes. And
People always ask me, should I lease a car or should I just buy and finance it?
this
And
do you know how much dealers pay a month for radio ads?
no idea.
$10,000. It's just for the radio.
Yeah.
When's the last time you used the radio? Exactly. My favorite car brand is Mercedes, but my absolute favorite car, if I know I'll drive one car for the rest of my life, would be the Basani.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Basani podcast. Today I got AMG Jared, whatever you want to call him, here with me today. Thank you for making time. I appreciate you being here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I got a lot of questions for you. I've kind of perused through a lot of your content.
Okay.
And so you know a lot about cars, okay? And so
I act like I do. I don't know anything.
So it's just an act, all by Instagram. But you also have a very interesting life, and you're branching out in different ways. So outside of cars, I just want to ask, what are some things that you're into?
Well, besides cars, it's gonna sound like a cheap answer, but I actually am really into movies. That's my passion, and I think you actually can see that in the videos that I make, where a lot of them are car-related spoofs of a movie. That's a really, really big thing of mine. It's just I'm a big cinephile. I love movies, and I try to recreate all these classic movie scenes in a car dealership setting or wherever, just kind of blending the two to create some sort of comedic little skit,
That's what I like about your content. Your content is very lighthearted. It's not so serious. It's not like Chrysler of this or Mercedes of this. It's not so serious. Are you more of an old school movie guy? New movies? Is it like a mix, sci-fi?
Anything. I'll try anything. I'm like music. I'll listen to anything as long as it's not country. So I guess if there was country movies, I wouldn't watch those.
Got it. Fair enough. Everybody's got different tastes, but I love your content. It's very informational. You're very it's very packed with information when you do want to give information, and also it's very lighthearted. It's very funny, and I kind of wanted to ask you: do you like making more funny content, or are you more like you like to just give people information?
The main goal of the page is to entertain, and the secondary goal is to inform. Okay, it's interesting when you do so much funny content, you get messages privately all the time. They're like, "Hey, man." I mean, I think of this one example where this guy got into a motorcycle accident, and he's like, "I'm in the hospital. I can't do anything. I can't move anything." He's like, "But I love watching your content." He's like, "It's distracting me."
Yeah.
And so it's like, if there's some sort of entertainment that I can give, some sort of value that I can distract you, the viewer, from the world for a minute, then that's kind of my fulfillment. And then hopefully I can inform a little bit too, because especially the knowledge that I know about the car industry, for working in it 5 years, there's a lot of things that people don't know when it comes to buying a car. There's a lot of people nowadays who are stuck in negative equity. So if I can entertain you and also maybe teach you a thing or two, just try and help you get out of a bad situation in your car, then I'm totally fine doing that.
I feel like all entertaining content has to be, all educational content has to be entertaining nowadays, because people have such a short attention span. But I wanted to ask you, how did it happen? How did you get into content creation? Was it something that the dealership said, "Hey, you need to make content," or was it just something that?
No. So I was at a dealership that had a big content creator, and he started 2 months before I did. And he did it, and I was like, admittedly, I was like, yeah, okay, sure, to hell, whatever. And then 2 months in, he goes, "Hey, Jared, I make $50 last month." And I go, "So I'm up."
Yeah.
That was all I needed.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I found his content more educational and less entertaining. And so I kind of thought of him as PBS, if you will. And I got to be MTV that I got to counter program this. And it just went really well. Just people, there's only two things that work on social media. It's either some form of controversy or some form of comedy. And comedy is really hard to do, but the controversy is pretty easy. You can make a video of new iPhone 17. There's not even a black model. What is this? We just got rid of it. It's only blue and orange now. Like, it's super easy to make controversy, and that's what will get people to stop. Or if you're like ridiculously funny. And in my opinion, some of the funniest stuff that I've done, like, no one has even seen. But at the end of the day, you also have to make some videos for yourself.
The dealership you were at had a lot of content creators, and I don't know, like, yeah, there's, I think out of Ohio, like, you're probably the only dealership on a ton of content creators, and more than anything else, it's like they're just all aggregated. Did you do a lot of content with them, or was it just like, hey, I'm gonna focus solely on me?
It was a lot of me and my manager at the time. And then actually, funny enough, the other content creators were filmless. It was kind of like this dichotomy where we're all kind of integrated and working together. But yes, it is pretty interesting. I know all the major car content creators for car sales now, and I am one of the only ones in Ohio.
Like, yeah, no, for sure.
Like, the rest is like, I don't know, do you know George Saliba?
Yes, I know them. Yeah, what's that? The two brothers that have a dealership, and they like, hey, we got this M4 in today.
That's all he does is M4s, but
Yeah, dude, like, yeah, I pulled that one out, but like, there's a lot of videos on M4s, and
Yeah.
he's in the transactional. You don't really do that though. You're not like talking to the phone and the customer. Like, he does it every day, and he does YouTube videos about it too.
Yeah. Yep. No, I know George really well. But he's in New Jersey, and then one of the bigger guys is in Pennsylvania, I work with, and it's like it's just not a area, like Ohio's just not it. You know, people are just not doing content here.
But ironically, the dealership that you worked at, dude, the amount of people that bought cars from there that were from out of state, like, I mean, dude, you're one of the biggest dealerships for Mercedes, Rolls-Royce. Like, you guys were like pushing a lot of volume out there, and they still push a lot of volume out of there.
Correct.
So, which is, most people don't think of that. Most people never think of Ohio. Oh yeah, I'm buying a car from Ohio. Oh, it must be a Honda or like something regular, you know?
Do you know what's interesting about Ohio? Some of the most successful people ever either were born in or lived in Ohio.
Yes, I
A
know.
lot of presidents, a lot of astronauts, a lot of Olympics actors.
I travel right now for work all the time. I tell people, like, yeah, I live in Cleveland. They're like, oh, like, must be like nothing. I'm like, dude, do you know how many successful people or how much old money is in Ohio? And how much, like, it's not like Ohio is like the mecca of everything. It's not. But it's a large state. I think it's like the 6th largest state in America. Tons of people came from here.
Well, the other thing too, we kind of talked about this, is I think a lot of people in Ohio just want to get out of Ohio. So if you want to get out of Ohio, you got to do something crazy. Like the Wright brothers who built a plane. So get the hell out of here.
the fly out, get out of here. So literally,
Yeah. I think it's interesting that there's a lot of people who have gone on to be great. They come on that.
Ohio's a great state. I mean, do you see yourself living in Ohio long term, or is it like kind of like, because I know you're looking for apartments now.
Yeah, no. The only reason, like I told you earlier, that I want a apartment is because I don't want to be tied down. I just want to just be able to go, because I 100%. My whole family's in Ohio, so I would love to have a place here, like what you do, this awesome apartment of yours, and just be able to come here, hang out here, have a place here, but nothing permanent here.
So let me dive into the cars a little bit, because you know a ton about cars, and I kind of want to ask the questions that people ask me a lot about cars. Like, not that I'm a car guy, but people ask me a lot because I do own a few cars. But also, these are questions that I have. So first and foremost, right, when you're going into a car dealership and you want to buy a car, what's kind of like the first question that you should ask people, the sales guy?
It's a tricky one. I think nowadays a lot of people don't want to go to a dealership. So by the time someone actually makes the commitment to go into a dealership, they probably already know what they want. Okay? But never forget this. If you knew exactly what you wanted, you'd already had it. And this is an interesting statistic, but over 50% of the time when a client comes into a store, they are on the wrong car. So over 50% of what's happening, someone will walk into the dealership, they'd say, oh, I want XYZ car. And your job as a salesperson is to ask them, well, why do you think you need that car? Yeah, and you kind of have to flip the script a little bit and ask them to sell you on the idea of them buying your car. And a lot of the times you'll find out that people are just up bar. I think the best way to vet yourself and potentially looking like a fool would just be to do as much research as possible beforehand. And again, with things like social media and especially YouTube, it's just a lot of people just watch like car reviews all day long.
What are some things that people should stay away from when buying a car, like some red flags about a dealership, about a salesperson?
The biggest thing that you can do to protect yourself is just go read the Google reviews. Every dealership, every business, anything that's going to have bad reviews, you shouldn't read the bad reviews there. because some dealerships we had a bad review where it's like, I got a chip in my windshield and they wouldn't pay for it. And then some dealerships will had a bad review where it's like, I'm currently in a lawsuit with them because they tried to stuff me with $5,000 in the warranties I didn't know about. So I think that's your biggest safeguard is just looking for reviews. And I think the new generation, our generation, is really relies on reviews. I don't think like how successful Yellow has become. But
Yeah.
so that's the biggest thing that you can do to protect yourself before going into the dealership. When you're actually in the dealership, you kind of have to use your sixth sense a little bit. And the biggest thing is how they treat you. That's like the number one thing. Because I've been to a lot of dealerships where, you know, the guy could, if you want to go down the road, they're objectively, they're sloppily dressed. They not look very put together. They kind of act a little weird. But if they treat you really well and they're very willing to help you, then you can kind of like, okay, sure, you know, whatever. But I've also been to dealerships where people look really put together and then they're like really trying to screw you.
Yeah.
I recently helped a family member buy a car, and the other thing is really do your own homework, right? So I knew how much her trade-in was worth, right? And then we went to the dealership, and they said, "Oh, well, her trade-in's worth $18,000." And I was like, "Well, I know she could easily get 21 from da da da." And so I just calmly said, "Well, hey, I think that's a little under the value for the trade-in vehicle. Is there any way to get to this?" And I swear on my life, when I said that, the guy snatched the paper out of my hands, crumbled it up, and walked away. And then he came back with a new paper, and he was like, "Here, I'll give you $1,500 to work." And it's just like use your common sense, because someone who acts like that, you shouldn't buy a car from them, right? And there's a lot of places that will act like that. And I also am always cautious around dealerships that take a really long time.
You're like in the process of sale.
And everything. Like when you go in there and you say, "Hey, I'd like to test drive this car," and they go, "That's fine. Well, you can definitely test drive that car. Let's go, sit down, ask you a couple questions, and we'll go drive it." Okay, that's totally fine. That takes 10, 15 minutes. Awesome. But if you ask to test drive the car and like an hour later you're still not driving the car, it's like, all right, what's going on here?
Someone's wrong with the car or some shade at the dealership.
Yep.
Okay, so good points there. I guess what's your favorite type of client? I guess you'd say out of state. They come in. Which one is the one that you like to work with the most?
Well, when I was selling cars, it was definitely out of state. Okay, out of state is
The easiest.
You can do very little for an out of state client and make them feel very special. The easiest thing you can do, right? So you were buying far from me and you inquired on, say, a pre-owned Lamborghini Urus, right? What I would do to make you feel really special is I would take up my phone and I would record the whole car. Like, "Hey, Sumi, here's the car right here. It looks like on the windshield there might be like a little bit of a chip. If that's a chip, we'll see what we can do. We replace it. But I think it looks good. Oh, Sumi, the whole bumper PBF'd. The back of the car by the fender, there's a little bit of like a hairline scratch."
I love him. I love all of that stuff. And because you're telling me what I have to worry about.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of times when people tell me, okay, this car is perfect, this car is great. A lot of the cars I bought are out of state, right?
Exactly.
Because I'm looking for like very special cars that sometimes they're just not here and not.
Right.
I hate it when people don't show me the video.
Yeah.
And you can look at when the video was taken. Someone's like, "Oh, I took this video 2 weeks ago." I'm like, "Dude, I can see it's 3 months ago. This video was taken." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the biggest thing that I would do, or I would just FaceTime someone.
Yeah.
By the end, for me, I was selling all my personal social media, so it was really easy. People would just know me. By the time people reached me, they felt like they knew me like better than you and I know each other. Right?
They know their morals. They know your integrity. They know, like, they've seen your content. They digested it.
When people would reach out to me and they would say, like, they would quote my own videos back to me. And they'd be like, "Oh, Jared, I love when you did this, da 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 da. I'm interested in this car here." I'd be like, "Oh, Chris, awesome. FaceTime, man. Go show them the car." And when you just do that little extra level of transparency, then with a out-of-state client, you build 10 times more trust than you could with someone in person.
What got you into car sales?
When I was right out of high school, I had a job with my uncle in this construction job where it was, I was working in a lab and I was testing concrete. It was just like really not fun job. And one day they screwed up my paycheck. And I was like, okay, that's the one thing you can't do is like screw up paychecks. I was so livid. I was so mad. I just typed in sales jobs on my phone. I was like, what's any sales jobs near me? Because the night before I watched the best movie ever, Wall Street.
Okay, well, you know what's funny? I was already thinking. That's like my most motivational.
Exactly. Yeah. And here's the other thing too. The fast way to view that movie is right when the FBI catches him, just turn it off.
Yeah. You don't want like negative.
That's how I did that. That's the best way to watch it. But yes, I watched that movie, and then the next day, my check gets screwed up. I'm like, you know what? I could sell stuff. And I typed in sales jobs near me, and the first thing came up was a Honda store. And at the time, when I say I knew nothing about cars, I didn't even understand what the mileage on a car meant. Dang. I was like, I don't know what that means, but okay. And I remember calling up my family, and I was like, hey, Grandma, I'm thinking maybe selling cars. And I swear, she just started laughing.
Yeah.
Nonstop. And then I had to hang up the phone because she was just laughing. I was like, all right, well, now I'm definitely doing this.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how I am. And so I applied for the first sales job, which was Honda. And I almost went to the Hyundai store because, again, I didn't
No, yes.
And I go in there and I was like, I don't know what to talk about. So the only thing that I focused on was just getting the guy across from me to talk about himself. And halfway through the interview, he was telling me about his son who has, autism and this, that, and the other thing. And then he stops and goes, I see what you did there. And so I got the job at the Honda store. And one day we took a pre-owned Mercedes in, and everyone at the dealership was all, oh, look at this hunk of junk over here, And I went out and was like, this is some art. It's gorgeous. This is awesome. And so I applied for the next Mercedes store, like the next day.
And that's where you got kind of into that Mercedes over here.
Exactly.
What's your okay, if I'm getting the car sales, what do you recommend what dealership should I work at? Used car dealership that kind of sells everything, an exotic car dealership, or like a traditional brand like a Honda, like a Mazda, like a Mercedes, like a BMW?
Your best bet right now is to get into a Toyota store.
Okay.
Toyota is quite literally
Like bulletproof.
Yeah, it's unstoppable.
They're insane, right?
I mean, you could buy a Toyota and you could crash it, and then they'll be like, I'll give $5,000 over MSRP.
Yeah,
Go give me anything.
Get out loud Toyotas.
Yeah, exactly. And most Toyota dealers, and especially in Ohio, do over like full career cars a month, which is insanely good. So you'll get the practice. I just think you need to do that for like a year or so, 6 months to a year, and then you could figure out what brand you really want to sell.
When I wanted to buy a Toyota recently, and I didn't buy it because they were so cocky.
Yeah, they know.
They were like, oh, yeah, you're not even like, all right, what do you need, man? Like, they just did not care. But I don't care. Whereas we go to Mercedes, it's like, we had refreshments over here. They had a little coffee bar. There's a lady by the coffee. Well, this is nuts.
Yeah.
And you think that is because the car is more elegant. Like, even like Lexus and stuff, they're very rare. Toyota, which Lexus is Toyota theoretically, but yeah, Toyota just did not care.
No, Toyota is like that like really hot girl at the bar who's like, you want me. And you're like, what am I going to do now?
You got the wait line.
Yeah, exactly. So it's weird. That's where I would go right now. And then I would pick from there.
So if you can't get in Toyota, where would you rank it? So like Toyota, probably Honda, right? I'm guessing. Very similar.
Yeah, Honda. A dealership that would get you the experience that you would need would also be a Kia store, because Kias, they move. They sling Kias. And Kia also deals with a lot of like challenged credit profiles. So you go also get that experience. Like as a car salesman, when you close a deal and then there's a problem funding at the bank, you don't want to be like, what do I do now? You want to have the experience to be like, okay, sir, so right now the bank is actually kind of asking for like face stubs and things like that just to confirm what you said on the car. Like when you run into that type of situation, you want to be prepared for that, because that will happen probably 40% of the time, depending on where you're at. And so that's why I also recommend Kia, just because you'll get a lot of practice there.
A lot of loans and companies are now taking bank statements, which is very interesting. Because there's a lot of people who are entrepreneurial, influencers, whatever it is. Like, we don't have traditional 1099 or not even 1099 W-2s, right? And so when you're 1099, you're there to be writing off a lot of your income. When in reality, you really can't afford the car. And what's funny is like now for like loan, people ask for bank statements. I'm like, that's wonderful. You know what I mean? Let me ask you this, right? When it comes to car loans, I know that there's a whole arena of this, and I want to pick your brain on it because most people don't understand this. If you have an 800 perfect credit, but you never had a car before.
I never listened to it.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this. You can't just go and buy a Ferrari on loan tomorrow. You can't. You have to build up like credit. Can you explain that a little bit for me? Like, so people can understand?
Yeah. At the end of the day, banks don't really care about your credit score. Pretty much between like the low 600s and the high 700s is all the same for them. The only thing they care about is previous auto loan history, correct. So if you were paying $400 a month for a Kia and now you want to buy a $1,200 a month Mercedes, they're going to be like, oh no. And you'll be like, why? I have an 800 credit score. They're like, we don't care about credit score. We only care for the fact that for the last 3 years, you've successfully every month paid on time $400 a month.
Yeah.
But we've never seen you handle $1,200 a month. So we don't know. Like, that's not a good gauge. So it's pretty easy to go from something like the rule to not push it is kind of doubling. You're kind of okay to double it. If you're paying $600 right now, you could probably get away with $1,200 with a good credit profile. But the only thing that banks do care about is what were you paying before, and did you ever miss a payment?
What about getting multiple auto loans at the same time?
That's tricky. That's when they'll look more at your income, and they'll also ask why. They'll be like, "Why do you need that?" I knew I worked with a client who had a car addiction because he said it was cheaper than drugs.
Yeah.
And when I say car addiction, I'm not lying. I mean, every 4 months I could reliably get an extra car deal out of this guy because he just needed another one.
He had the money for it too, or he's just swapping up cars, trading them in?
Oh, no, he had the money for it. And there's the bank, when you consistently do things like that, we constantly hop out of cars, the bank starts going, okay, why? Why do you need these many cars? And so like that's one problem. The other problem that they run into is the bank makes the money off interest.
And you're not completing the loans.
Which is you're completing the loans, you're barely even scratching the surface of the loans.
Yeah.
The banks usually make enough money that they're satisfied after like a year or two of you paying interest on that. But if you dramp it for 4 months, they might decline you because you're a flight risk.
You know who does about jump out of cars a lot, in and out? I don't even think it's like killer influencers. Like where I live in Miami, new car every 4 to 6 months. They're getting rid of the old one as well.
Yep.
And they're typically losing money on it. They're losing money on it. I don't know how much they're losing in terms of depreciation or how much they're driving it, but there's some guys that are buying extreme levels of cars, right? I'm sure you've seen, and they're doing like the financing deals that are available down there. I don't know if they're available in all dealerships. They're like insane. Like they're like 144 month financing. Like I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, that unless you have screw you money,
Yeah.
that so the average person, 144 month term is basically like you're gonna die in this car and
You're native equity all day.
I'm gonna be buried in it. I don't recommend anyone doing anything past 72 months.
Well, they're doing it for the advertisement. Like, hey, I'm going to get this car. It's nice. Now you know I make money. Come buy my course. Come buy this. Come buy that. You know?
Right. Exactly. And I think that's society. There's a lot of rules in society. And then there's just a lot of people who just live outside of the rules. And for the average person who would hop out of 4 cars, or hop out of cars every 4 months, that wouldn't fly. But for some people, like an influencer where they're, making money off of this, yada, 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 I've seen loans that should not have been approved be approved. Where some guy goes, what? Hey, yo, yeah, him, no, hey, how you doing? Hey, owner of Chase, how are you? Yeah, no, it's me, Bill here. Yeah, no, I got a good buddy of mine who, like people will start pulling strings for you really quickly at a dealership if you kind of operate on those outskirts of the rest of society.
Yeah.
If I'm an influencer and I can make a video, I bought a car from XYZ dealership, that dealership will do anything to get you to buy the car.
There's one dealership in Florida, in Lauderdale, actually. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called Cario. I've never seen cars like this. Like Bugattis, Aventadors, like SVJs left and right. And there's tons of influencers and like, I don't even know how to say it properly. Like, I know these guys are making money, but the type of cars they're getting are insane. Like, I'm talking like ridiculous money cars.
Well, there's a lot that you can do with that as well. Like, money is, a lot of people try to grab very tight on the money. And that doesn't work. And so you need to be okay with losing money all the time.
Spending money, yeah. I'm sure there's a positive
When you lose money on a car, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise. If you have a good accountant, they can write up all the depreciation.
Correct.
So to hop in out of cars, at the end of the day, that's just a business expense.
I think that cars are probably one of the best things that you could do if you had the right type of business and lifestyle. So I used to do insurance, and I still do life insurance. But when I used to sell life insurance, the reason I drove up, we had brick and mortar before COVID, okay? I drove into the dealership, or not the dealership, the Lewis Berkeley dealership, right? It was Rolls Royce, Ferrari, Lambo. Now I want to work here immediately. You didn't have to sell me, dude. Like, you're driving this every day. Like, what do you do? You know, that's all it was. And so cars have a massive emotional aspect in terms of if you're in a business that requires recruiting, it requires selling a program where you need to look more polished and you need to look more special. Cars, I think, are one of the best investment, if not the best investment that you can make. Better than a house, better than a nice piece of jewelry, because you can fake a watch very easily. You can rent a house, Airbnb, but if you're driving a car consistently, it's something that's hard to kind of, people, even if you're driving it here and there, people love that. People like the idea of it. It's an image. So I think cars are very good investments if you're in the right business. But I think that a lot of people go wrong with cars as well when they try to look at it as an asset. But there are some cars that appreciate. And I wanted to ask you, which ones do you think appreciate the most?
I mean, 99.999% of cars don't appreciate at all.
There's the 0.001.
Which are things like Bugattis and Ferraris and 911s. The majority of the cars don't. And a lot of people get like really excited when they say my car doesn't appreciate, right? They'll be like a G-Wagon is like a great example. Like G-Wagons pretty much maintain their value. Yes. And people get really excited like, my G-Wagon's an investment. It doesn't lose any money. Yeah, but it's not an asset.
It's still losing value.
It's not gaining value. Yeah, agree on that. Yeah, 100%. That's how I define it as an asset, is you can buy an item and you can sell it to more later on down the line.
Correct.
Which, if Ferrari lets you buy a car from them brand new, you can put in your garage in Florida.
It'll gain value.
Yes.
Ironically.
And make you money. Exactly. So, yeah, there's very few cars, again, like Ferraris or 911s. Those are pretty much the cars you want to be buying. You're thinking of an asset. But I think at the end of the day, the reason I would want to buy a car, like, it kind of breaks my heart when someone says something along the lines of, like, cars are a good asset or investment when, like, people see you in that. Like, fairly recently, a buddy of mine said, man, I can't wait to own a Ferrari because people are going to look at me way different. Correct. So, like, wow, you're right, but you're in it for the wrong reasons. At least in my opinion. Correct. Because I truly do believe that cars are art. And when you're going to buy something like a Ferrari, it'd be like, look, everyone views me differently.
You're buying it for the wrong. You're looking at it, but some people go in it strategically just for that and that alone.
Yeah, which is sad to me, but yeah, you know, whatever. It'd be like if you hung up like a really nice piece of artwork in your apartment that when people came over, they thought of you differently.
But you didn't appreciate it yourself.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I know a lot of people do that with cars. A ton of people do that with cars.
Most people do that.
I think, and I wanted to ask you this too. This is a big question I get asked all the time. Like, this is probably like, it's not even like what's a good car or what's the best car. It's what is the best entry-level luxury car you can get into? A car that makes you look good but doesn't cost a lot of money.
It's definitely a Mercedes. And I don't want to sound biased because I'm like the Mercedes guy, but it's definitely Mercedes because Mercedes has every single vehicle they have is designed to fit someone. They have a model for everyone out there. They have cars for 40 grand that when they get traded in, they depreciate.
The depreciation is insane.
But here's the reason why. Well, the real reason why is a lot more complicated. The reason why that works is because now you could buy that $40,000 Mercedes for like 30 grand pre-owned, and now you're paying $600 a month for a Mercedes. So in some sort of way, I think Mercedes does kind of know what they're doing. And the big point is that they have a car for everyone. And so if you're like just starting out and you're on the come up and you're trying to get that higher status, there is nothing more affected than the 3-point start. Like when you see that, you're like, all right, Dave,
what do you think is a good entry-level luxury car from Mercedes to get into?
I would get a C300 sedan. Especially the new ones, you will get really aggressive leases in the $600-700 a month range. They're really nice interiors. They have LED all around.
Tech and Mercedes, I think Mercedes is like a tech company at this point. Because Mercedes, one thing about Mercedes that nobody really knows is, you know how like a lot of cars have the dual, like the across the board digital display. It's not just here, it's like boom all the way down. Like Cadillac, the new Escalade, they're like all the way down. That literally started in, I'm pretty sure, the S-Class. That literally started in Mercedes. The whole the connecting.
It started in their EQS, their electric models. For the longest time, Mercedes was pretty far behind on technology, but the one thing that Mercedes can consistently say throughout their 200 so years of existence is they are innovators. So they invented the car. Look at they invented the car. They invented the first gas station. They also had the first steam load right, all in one day. Stupeck in the ATS, awesome. Yeah, I know, right? And ever since then, they had innovated. Like I at one point, I was in a 2008 E-Class, and it looked like it had a sunroof. And so I peeked my head inside the car, and I looked up, and it's a velvet sunroof or a velvet roof. I'm like, well, it looks like it's got a sunroof here, but on the inside, it's a solid roof. What's going on? And the guy who owned it explained, oh no, this is a solar power. This is a solar panel. So in 2008, Mercedes integrated a solar panel into the tops of their cars for people who live in Florida.
It was the interior would say cool.
Exactly. And that was in 2008.
That's crazy.
And like Tesla's like, how can we figure this out? It's 2025, and they're like, how can we put a solar panel on our cars so they can charge for us? It's like Mercedes was already there.
Yeah.
And so yes, Mercedes came up with those big screens. And the funny thing is with Mercedes is they'll like come out with something that's like super new and innovative. Then when everyone else does it, they're like, we don't like this anymore. And it's like something totally different.
Right.
And like now they had their big thing is like seamless door handles. Like all their cars, there's no door handle until you walk up, the handle just like
Pops out. Yeah. No, Mercedes has stuff. Even like, I'll tell you, the Burmeister speakers,
it's the best. Burmeister's the best.
Remember they had like the holes like all decorated? Oh yeah. A lot of companies are doing that now. They're putting patterns and designs on the doors. And I'm like, I saw this at Mercedes way back.
Yeah, if you get in with Genesis now, this especially the sound system, but the interior looks like a Mercedes.
The Genesis looks like, the GE80s look like Bentley Bentaygas. I think they look exactly like Bentley Bentaygas, but the interior is very similar to Mercedes. I mean, dude, a lot of people follow Mercedes as a leader. I love Mercedes. My favorite car.
If you say BMW, I'm going to throw a shoe at you.
No, I don't like BMW. Actually, I think it's a completely different type of car.
No, it is.
It's a complete, like, you buy BMW for the driving experience. You buy a Mercedes for class and for sophistication and for, like, and also Mercedes has one car that, like, nobody is a competitor to, in my opinion, and it's the G-Wagon.
Yeah.
There's not one competitor for it. I mean, you have the Bronco, the Jeep in theory. They're, like, trying to compete, but there's really not. That's my daily driver in Florida is G-Wagon. It's my favorite car. And I always tell people, if you're going to get a car and you have the money, get a G-Wagon. Because the one thing about the G-Wagon always is you get to black.
Matte black? I'm red.
The Magno, black manufacturer. And then the Napra. It's the easiest one to resell, too.
Yeah.
It's the Diamond Stitch Nappa Red. It's the most common gun.
Well, I got red. Like, I just go.
Yeah, everyone's got that. There's other ones. I ordered a new one, actually. It has the Arabian gray on the outside, which is the new hot color.
That's the new hot color. The black and the red, you never go wrong with that.
Because it's the easiest car to resell. Yeah, it's the easiest luxury car to sell. And that car is just fun to drive. Like, I won't get bored of driving it. Like, you drive a car, either you drive like the nicest car for 2 weeks where you're gonna be like, all right, I'm used to this, you know what I mean? Unless you're constantly rotating cars, it's like you're gonna get used to it. G-Wagon, dude, it's fun. It's an experience. It's the weirdest car though, because it's literally a Hawks. No aerodynamics. It's got a ton of power in it.
And it's fast.
It is fast, super fast. And when you go fast, it like the whole car shifts. Yeah. It's a crazy car. What's your favorite car?
My favorite car brand is Mercedes, but my absolute favorite car, if I know I'll drive one car for the rest of my life, would be the McLaren P1.
Really? Okay, that's a crazy part, yeah.
I know, that's a crazy car. But when I was really young, I saw it the first time.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was 15 or 13 when it came out. And I did think it was real. Like, I remember when I saw that, I was like, yeah, okay, it's like a cool drawing. And then, no, that's car's real. I've been around a lot Ferrari. I've been around, 918 Spiders and crazy cars and turbos and stuff. But weirdly enough, I've seen so many McLarens, been in so many McLarens, never a P1. It's like it's eluding me until it's mine type situation, which I'm totally okay with. But yeah, that's definitely that's my art.
The McLaren P1, I see him in Miami here and there.
Yeah.
But what do you think about McLaren as a brand? Because I hear a lot of good and bad about McLaren. I hear that McLaren's right down a lot. They have a lot of problems. But there's the car. I think McLaren's have insane.
Yeah, the others cars look insane. They have really great performance, really great power.
They're fast. They're super fast.
Yeah, it's just if you can keep it running, then you're totally fine.
They always say this joke, like McLaren owners have like multiple cars because they're always in shot. But like the 720S, 765 LT, these are some of like the best cars that you can get. Like they're ridiculously like powerful.
Yeah, so it's like again, the easiest analogy is like if you're dating someone and it's like, man, she's crazy hot, but sometimes she throws things at me. It's like, it's the price.
Yeah,
It's the price to this shit.
100%. What's a good entry level supercar you get into?
A good entry supercar?
Yeah, well, let's say you have $200,000.
I get a 911.
911.
That's the only option. So you get a 911 and you don't drive it a whole lot. You drive it enough times to enjoy it, but you don't drive it a whole lot. And then you could probably make on that. I had 200 grand by that.
Which 911? Like, because there's
I would have let you get a turbo and play like really safe. But if you can, it's gonna be really hard to get the Heritage Edition. Have you seen these?
no, I had not.
They're just really good looking in general. But those things are like they're on fire right now. With people want the Heritage. It's a very sleek and simple looking 911. It's usually some crazy custom exterior color, like a really elegant blue or a clean silver. And then they'll actually in the interior building forms too, if you ever seen that pattern. And it's just like this. It's kind of like this weird new old money look, and people are just going, "Oh, Chris Porter."
People are crazy about the GT3RS right now.
Yeah,
That car is like hot. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think that's like old reliable. I think that's always going to be that way. But I know some. I don't know them, but I've interacted with their cars. Some big celebrities from Cleveland and the Akron area, if you catch my drift, have a Heritage. Man, like yeah, that tells me all I need to know. Like, yeah, this is the part of that.
that's the part. I mean, what about Lamborghini? What do you think about them? What do you think about
Is it the Revolto that they just released?
the Revuelto? Yeah, I know a couple of my buddies have those cars. I have a lot of problems. Like,
But it's the same thing. I mean, it's
what is it, $700,000, $800,000 car? Like, they have a lot of problems, those cars. Which blows my mind. Like, you would think that,
well, it's Italian.
yeah, it just tons of problems. I'm like surprised by how it's simple props too. It's like cup holder problem. It's like small thing that the car won't. It breaks down completely. Like, it's like scary stuff.
I drove a Huracan.
Huracans are full of fruit. Those ones, they got the old Audi engine in there.
I drove it probably 6-ish months ago, maybe longer than that, and the interior sounded like was like this water bottle. Like,
Yeah, yeah, especially being Flint speakers too.
oh, it was cheap. I can't figure out the buttons. It was ridiculously hard to drive. But once you were driving, I was like there's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's kind of the same thing again. Like, it's interesting, like how the higher up you get into supercars, like the lower quality they are.
Everything else is it's just the engine. This.
Yeah, it's like everything is just they like feel like they built an engine
And then just put something
and
around.
they're like, oh crap, we gotta build a car too. So they
Yeah.
they just like draw it together. But I think it's kind of like all entry level cars, and then there's like the cars that are pretending to be luxury, like Genesis and Lexus, like you can't fit.
Yeah.
And there's like real luxury cars like Audi and Mercedes and Beamer. And then there's like those brands have their own luxuries like Maybach and Alpine and what have you. And then you go into supercars where they just like
Just completely go down.
but just jump it again. Like it's like you get to supercars and it feels like you're in like Kia Soul.
It's like nothing inside.
It's weird, yeah. But I mean, one of the coolest experiences, I got to drive a Aston Martin DB12 from downtown Gleeville to North Olmsted. And if I told you the speed limit, we'd have to stop recording.
Yeah.
Like I was going, and I mean, it was the coolest thing. It's
Aston Martins are amazing cars.
and yeah, I do there. I mean, but you had the same issues with their technology and the interior.
They updated their tech though recently. Like I think the advantages of you try where they get all the tech, Mercedes. Then it's all Mercedes tech. It's the one level behind Mercedes. Even the Vantage is literally an AMG. It's just a basically body kit on an AMG GT.
Yes, for the longest time, every Aston Martin was just an AMG. So
Yeah, I thought they switched over kind of in like 2011. I thought they switched over because they were having such reliability problems.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. For the longest time, they were all AMGs, and now they're kind of like doing their own sort of thing now. But at the end of the day, it kind of all goes back to Mercedes, is what I'm saying. And even like Tesla, like Tesla blew up, and if you get a first model Teslas, it's all Mercedes parts. The screen is a Mercedes, the shifters, the steering, everything was Mercedes. They just slapped the Tesla logo all.
If you had to, I have a weird theory, and I've made videos about this actually, and it's like my philosophy on owning car, right? I have my '08 Acura, which you kind of just saw, right? That is my ABC 123 daily driver.
First last bro.
The last part, but it's the thing about that car is it's so bad compared to like my other cars. Like, and people message me all the time about, dude, you have a G-Wagon, you got the LC500, you have a ton of other cars that are nice. You have another G-Wagon on order. I just ordered an S63 AMG as well. Like, I got all these like nicer cars, and I drive Acura. And they're like, why do you do that? I'm like, my philosophy is you have a really garbage car that you drive every day with a beer. Like, I'm talking totally garbage. That car is like 108,000 miles on it. And it's not like a bad car. Like, it's
just getting started.
we're just getting into it. Yeah. It's not but like, it has the speakers. It sounds good. Like, it drives fine. It's not like a terrible car that like, I'm like not able to drive. But my philosophy is you get a really bad car, and then that allows you to afford something that's maybe conventionally out of your price range. Because what happens then, the nicer cars you have, you're not driving them as much.
Yeah.
You're retaining positive. You're paying off a loan. So it's not like you're making money on it, but you're still positive in the car. Like, you're positive equity in the car.
You're just ear up bulb waters.
Yes, because the car payment should be eating away faster than the depreciation should be in the car. If you're putting a lot of miles on your nice car and you're daily driving it, and you get an accident here or whatever it is, it's killing the value of the car. And that's what people really struggle with the most, because if you need to get out of the car, or you need money, or you need to just chill out, which most people, there's a time in your life that'll happen, you need to be able to use your car. And so I always have a two-car philosophy. You have one car that's like completely like the worst. Because people would say, like, why don't you just get like a nice 2025 Camry? I'm like, no, I'm going to get like and if this goes that, I'll get another under 2010 type car, beater car. There's a certain level of luxury too with that type of car, because nobody cares about you. Nobody cares. You can park it anywhere. You're not going to get robbed. It's like and like you ding your car, God forbid. Who cares? I had like old lady hit my car. It was parked. Back into it. She had a newer car. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This car's been such bad luck. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all good. You know, it's fine. It's no big deal, because the car is so old. But that's my philosophy. What do you think about that?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think the other thing too with us, especially being on social media, a lot. I don't know how much you don't get recognized out in public, but I know that my car is pretty notorious now.
What do you drive?
I have a 2023 AUG EQE sedan, so they're all electric.
It's a very that car is stand out.
It does stand out, and so like, I've been driving before, and I'll get DMs be like, haha, no way you're riding my Moper right now. Like the car is famous too. Like, people know
There's not a lot of people that happen here.
it's nice. Exactly. And there's that aspect of it too. And like, I've been driving home I-90 West, and I'll get DMs be like, I saw you just go under the bridge right now. So yes, sometimes I'm like, man, I really wish I just could like a Corolla, but I could just disappear.
No one will look at you. Nobody even cares. Like, I don't have my Acura when it's tinted. No one even looks. Oh, yeah. No one cares about that car. And it's like, also, the best part about it is police officers don't even care. You're driving a nice car. Sometimes police officer would just pull you over. Like, I've gotten pulled over. I used to have an Audi S8, right? Really nice car. And it was like, I spec'd it out too. A police officer pulled me over, just like, yo, I just wanted to see the car. I saw this car on the transport movie, and I'm like, what kind of car is this? Like, this is a nice Audi, big. And I'm like, yeah, it's had like the big Brembo, like calipers. Like, yeah, I just pulled you over, just did a little bit of car. Sorry, I don't mean to. And then he let me go. That's literally, I'm like, that is insane.
Well, I haven't had that happen to me, but I did have an instance where in that car it has the air ride suspension system.
Yeah, it's very sweet. That car is tech. It's literally not a car.
I did the an iPhone. It's like the latest iPhone.
Yeah,
dude. The other day the car updated, and I got in the car and it has new features now. It's like real.
Yeah.
But so I was on 480, and most people, rate, like people speed on rate, and I was doing top of like 20 over, but I didn't know because of how smooth the car was, so I got bored. And the cop says to me, first thing he says, whose car is this?
And you look young, dude.
I know.
You look super young.
I look like I'm 16 and it's a $100,000 car.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can make the assumptions that he was probably thinking, oh, this guy's in daddy's car. And I was trying to be nice and polite, but as soon as he said that, I was like, it's mine. We obviously not even nice anymore. And, yeah. So that's another problem too, I guess.
What do you think about EVs though, in general?
EVs are very hard. I think a lot of companies did it reversely. They should have gone like really heavily down the hybrid route and then transition people into EVs. It's kind of the instance of, do you jump into the cold water or you ease yourself into the cold water?
I think a lot of companies went into the EV route so heavily because they wanted to keep up with speed. Well,
Everyone was getting their teeth kicked in by Tesla.
yes, like Tesla's like, dude, I had Tesla with Flat the other day. There's a thing about getting a car here. I'm like, let me just look at Tesla. Dude, I would never let my wife drive that car. I would never let anyone, dude, I would never let anybody drive that car. That car's speed, dude, it's so fast that I'm like, this is not even real.
Yeah.
Like, it did 0 to 60 in like 2.1 seconds. Dude, it's like hyper speed. You don't even feel it too.
Exactly.
And it's so dangerous because like, it's insane. And I'm like, it's like 60 years from now, like everyone watches, like 2 seconds so slow. Yeah, right. Like my Acura, like it goes 0 to 60 in like 8 seconds or something like that, which is like, it's a sports Acura. Back in the day, like way back, this was like, 8 seconds? Oh, here we go. We're going so fast. But those cars are absolutely insane. The EVs, I think that everyone jumped on the EV brand to try to keep up with Tesla.
Yeah.
But then they didn't. You're right.
But they screwed up because they didn't realize that Tesla was a tech company. Yes, Tesla cared more about self-driving and having, a massive display that can play Christmas carols through the headlights.
That had Netflix and everything.
Yeah, and blow fire through the vents.
Yeah.
Like that's what they care about. And so everyone was like, it'd be like if I was like really trying to compete with you in terms of social media and the only thing you care about is like bodybuilding. And I was like, man, why can't I ever catch Sumi? Oh, it's because Sumi's not even focusing on what I focus.
Yeah.
So everyone went down the EV route like way too quickly and people weren't ready for it. So I really think that now people are transitioning more towards hybrids, and people love hybrids.
Hybrids are great.
And you just got the new S63.
Yeah, that's a hybrid.
Have you driven it yet?
I've not. I used to have the 2015 S63 Coupe.
Not even close.
This was crazy.
It's insane. I took one.
It's like 700 something horsepower, like almost 800. It's almost 800.
Yeah,
it's like 600 with the gas, and then better than me. I'm like trying to.
Yeah, it is, and the torque figures are insane. I think they were over 1,000, man. It was like, it's crazy how 59 or something was their torque. And I did get to drive one from Cleveland down to Columbus, and there was a stretch where you could see everything in terms of like where she might be hiding, and it was pretty clear. So I was like, let's see what it could do. And I promise, with German luxury cars in general, the faster you go, the smoother they get.
Yes. Well, I think Mercedes is really good at that. Because the way that the power kicks in, it's so, like, intoxicating.
You always have to remember with these cars, you can try and send auto lock.
Yeah.
Where you can go 200 miles.
No speed limit.
Yes. And when you have a car like that, you need it to do better in the high end. And so when you're in an S-Class, especially the S63, which is, in my opinion, one of the best cars Mercedes has made.
I think it's the best car that Mercedes made. I think the G-Wagon was accidentally very well known.
Yeah.
There's a whole history with that, with the Shaw and everything, but like they pretty much modernized it in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And now it's like fucking influencer staple, you know what I mean? But the S63 was the fucking car that everybody you look at all the movies, Mafia, like Dangerous People, S-Class, every time S-Class.
The S-Class is Mercedes' flagship vehicle, and the G-Wagon is Mercedes' like accidental jackpot. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, this went really well.
Because, dude, I think the amount of people that probably come in to get G-Wagons is, even the G-Wagon that I got it from Betford. Dude, it's like ridiculous amount of time. I had to wait like a year and a half. I wasn't in a rush, but I
worked there too. But
they don't have a lot of allocations like Olmsted does. Olmsted gets a bunch, but like, what's the most demanded vehicle that people come in and they can't get?
Well, for Mercedes, it's the G-Wagon.
It's a G-Wagon, yeah.
For Porsche, there's the 911. For Ferrari, it's a Ferrari.
Yeah, it's any Ferrari.
For Toyota, it's the 4Runner. You could buy a 4Runner, right?
That's what I went in to try to buy a Toyota.
Yeah.
When they were like, they just like, dude, they weren't even like making eye contact. Because like, I'm like, dude, like, why like mess up here or something? Good luck. They did not care. They're like, you're gonna have to wait till like next year, and we're gonna have to take like a deposit and like everything. I'm like, okay. And Mercedes takes a $2,500 deposit. Oh, yeah, at the time when I went in there, $10,000 deposit. And they are about that. And that 4 was spec'd out like the TRDs and all that. They get $100,000. It's $100,000 for that cost.
Yeah, I was when the new Super came out, I was kind of expecting that to be the crazy car, and it was for like a blink of time period. It was like the new Supra. Okay, but for whatever reason, people are just obsessed with the 4Runner. So
They're the most. If you look at car reviews, I've never like owned a 4Runner, but they're arguably the most reliable car. Like that's what everyone has kind of listed out.
yeah, it's just it's a really nice, very capable truck that's gonna last forever, and so it's like a win-win-win. And so yeah, Toyota market is crazy. People who are like want to drive those cars, I wish I was a Toyota first. I'm first just not like interested in those cars. But those people I feel are really fortunate because that's the best brand right now. Like it's like one of those sports teams that's just undefeated.
The thing about Toyota is like I love Toyota as like a reliability factor, but outside of that, the car itself is not that exciting to me. That's the only problem with it. Yeah, like the new Priuses, the tech is super cool, everything is nice, but like the problem with Toyota is like they're still outdated in my opinion, like in the technology aspect. Like my mom, I got on with 2023 RAV4. The tech in it is not like a 2015. My S63 for 2015, mine was an S class, destroyed it, like murdered it, like not even close. And you would think that they would try to update, like the system is just too old, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's just it ain't don't fix it. Like it is actually working. Then
They know they have that people buy the balls.
yeah, they cornered an entire portion of the economy car market, and so they care less. They care less if someone walks in and wants to buy a car. Whatever. So what are you gonna do? Google buy here?
Yeah.
You're gonna buy a Toyota.
If you buy a Toyota, you're going to stay with us, it's been reliable, you have no problem. If you were to buy another car, let's say you got some money in the positive bank account and you're like, you have to spend this on a car. Okay, let's say it's $100,000. $100,000? Well, it'll go $100,000, we'll go $500,000, it'll go unlimited budgeting.
Okay, so do I have to be smart with it, or can I just?
It could be anything that you want right now. So you have the EQS right out, the sedan. So theoretically, I'm already thinking either sports car or truck. Like you're going, because you already have the sedan, right? So you're probably gonna.
Well, I would want to go sports car. I really like a 718, but you could get those way over $100,000.
Yes, you can get used.
Have you ever seen the new Mercedes CLE 53?
I have not seen them.
I'm just going to start right now.
Yeah, show me. Let's see this.
You can get like a really nice one with massage seats for probably under 80. So I would probably in this imaginary scenario, I would just get the difference back to whoever gave me $100,000. Well, look at that car. It is nice. That's a real car. So for the longest,
This just looks like a smaller version of the SC2 Coupe.
yes.
And it has the jail grill.
Yep. So for the longest time, you say Mercedes got their teeth kicked in by BMW in terms of like aggressive style. So, and Mercedes did that because everyone told them. So one day they just were like, screw that, we're going to make this car. And this car is selling like hotcakes. Like dealers could take no money off, or they could take $5,000 off, and people will be like, I still want it no matter what. I don't care. So I would, if I had $100,000, I'd buy one of those. And then I would just spend the rest of the money just completely PP-ing the entire car.
What do you think about like the BMW circle back, the BMWs, like the M3s, M4s? Because a lot of people, like, you know, they always ask, you should get an M4, you should get an M3. Like, it's like almost comical at this point.
Yes. Those cars just hold very well. That's one of those cars where people like toot their horn a lot. We're like, my car doesn't appreciate. Yeah, the signal doesn't appreciate either. But I had pretty recipe of most cars as well. It's just a great driver's part. It's like Nike, but in car form. It's just so athletic. It's so sleek. It performs so well that if you want like a true sports car, you're just gonna go down that route, and they're gonna hold their value pretty well if you get to like the competitions. So that's why it's like pretty sick. And for a while there too, they were kind of blowing them out the door in the sense that you could get some M4s and M3s for like a lot of money off. So that was like a really good deal as well. So that's kind of where that came from. It's just so not my tastes that I just.
Do you not like BMW at all, or is it just
No.
BMW M3, M4? Okay. Would you ever own one?
I feel like one day, if I have a son, he'll be like, I want to be where I'll have to buy one. I think that's sit down with them like, son, don't do this to me. And he'll be like, no, I really won't do
What
it.
do you think about the MX?
Those are the Beamers that I like.
I like M8.
Those are
They're heels on.
Yeah, I don't know why. I drove the Cabriolet version, a verbal one, and it was nice. Those are the ones that I like. I just like that big, aggressive.
Dude, I think they're made. What do you think is an underrated car that more people should pay attention to that doesn't get enough love?
Underrated cars. It's so hard because there's a lot of underrated cars, but there's also a lot of cars that's like they're underrated for a reason.
Yeah. I think the easiest one, though, is actually the G-Wagon, but the G550.
Really?
So everyone and their grandmother will call you and be like, I need a G63 yesterday.
But they don't need a G63.
And then you'll go, okay, well. And they'll be like, well, because I need the G63. And you'll be like, but specifically, what about it do you need? You need, because the engine noise.
Do you need towing capacity? Like,
They're like, oh, no, I need the 63. And I'll be like, okay, so are you going to be like driving it aggressively, like on your track or something? And it's like, what are you talking about? You're like, so you just want the G63 because that's the one that people get. But the G550, in my opinion, is way better. Now, it doesn't hold its value as well as 63, but it still holds it back. Why do you think it's way better? Because the G-Wagon is an off-road car. Even with W25s that have been redesigned and have a new suspension system and a new engine, even still, they are inherently rough riding cars comparatively to other available Mercedes. You're paying 200 grand, right? If you go to something like a G550, you're going to get it's a turbo and a supercharged.
it's a V8.
So now it's a turbo and supercharged inline six.
For the new ones.
Some new,
But the old ones are correct.
Yep. Yeah. But you're not going to get that sports suspension. And the biggest thing that AMG does is they'll make the car look meaner. They'll make it sound louder. They'll give it a better engine, and then they will destroy the suspension system. They do not care that you want a smooth riding car. They will make it the most sporty suspension they can possibly do. And so when you drive the G550, you'll be like, man, this is all the great, amazing things of a G-Wagon, except it's smooth. And then you drive a G63, you're like, no. It's fun because it's a G63, but at the end of the day, it's not fun because it's like a rough car.
A car I think that's underrated, which is underrated for a reason, but I think it's really good now, is the Maserati Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Because they appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can say anything about Maseratis. I'm not a big fan of the Ghiblis. I'm not a big fan of really any Maserati except for the Gran Turismo. And Maserati got so much hate for pretty much every single car that they can appreciate so much. You can get a used Gran Turismo for like $30K. Like literally, it's one of the most insane cars. Obviously, there's maintenance that goes into these types of cars, but you're looking for a sports car and you're looking to just genuinely enjoy it, and it sounds amazing. These cars sound amazing. Like, I think that's underrated. I'm trying to think of another one that's underrated.
Yeah, the Maseratis, they're very cool. I mean, they have such a great looking logo.
They look amazing.
As a sound too. I'll tell you a really good Maserati story. So one of my sales managers at one time, he was going in to buy his wife a Maserati, and the sales guy, he was like, "Hey, what do you like about the Maserati?" And he's like, "Oh, I just think it's a cool car. The baby of my life was like," and he was like, "Okay." And he goes, "Let me show you why you should buy a Maserati." And he takes him around the back of the car, and he says to the guy, he says, "Hey, look right here. Right. See the exhaust right there? Just look right there." And he's like, I don't see anything. He goes, "No, you don't see it? It's right there. Just look really closely." And so he gets down like this, and he's like, "What?" It starts the car. It starts the car. Boom! And like my guy goes, "Stop, I'll buy it right now." Because that's their thing, is their engine now is the sound of those engine, the sound of the Maseratis. So
They're the best. In my opinion, I think Maserati Gran Turismo, just raw, they sound insane.
yeah, and so the thing now too is like the German cars used to be the best sounding vehicles, but they struggle with this thing in Germany called noise pollution, where Germany is very concerned about the sound of the city, like what we were talking about earlier. And so to combat that, all German manufacturers really have to put like a snake buffer on all of ours. Like if Porsches don't sound the same anymore, Beamers, you say everything, because they're very stringent on, like, the new CLE, that car that I showed you. It sounds really, really good when you're driving it, but when you're outside of it, it kind of sounds a little bit lawnmower-y. And the reason is, Mercedes was told by Germany, hey, you gotta make these cars quieter. So the exterior is quieter, but they put microphones in the engine bay, and they pump that sound into the speakers. So it sounds legit in the park, like, this car sounded great. And then you'll like stick your head out the window and read and you're like, what? That doesn't know I'm not good. It's weird, but you can't, like, a lot of people perfect way manufacture it. But they're being forced to do it. Just like a lot of manufacturers were forced to make so many electric cars. So, yeah, Maserati is really cool, but I want to tell you this story. One of the first Mercedes I ever saw, okay? And I'm going to move around some of the details here so no one gets outed. But this woman comes into the store, and she's driving a Kia. And she was like, hey, I need to buy Mercedes. And so I was like, okay. So I praise for Kia. I do this, and the other thing. We get into the CLA, which is their smallest, entry sort of level Mercedes, but it still looks very nice. It's very sleek. It's called a coupe, which means there's no door frame. So when you open the door, you roll the lid down. There's no like overarching frame.
What do they call that? Like
they call it a coupe. It's frameless. It's a frameless door. Yeah. It's exactly. So it looks sporty. It looks nice.
It's clean.
It's got LEDs everywhere. So you're driving at night, And again, this is my first Mozart Mercedes. And this person, she insists, like, I need the CLA, I need the CLA. And so the payment with all of her negative equity, because like everyone in Wilbur now has some full of negative equity because of what happened during the pandemic. So with all of her negative equity from the Kia, rolling the Vans, her payment was about $1,200 a month. And so I ran a credit app, and the amount of money she made because she was retired on disability, and her car came in, her theoretical Benz payment would eat up about 70% of her monthly income. And I was like, in good faith, I can't say this bar, because when after insurance, you will have like real money left over at the end of the day. And she goes, I don't care. I just need the car. And I was like, okay. And we struggled really, really hard. We eventually get her approved, because again, Mercedes especially, they only care how you paid your previously. Like, if you've not missed a payment, don't give it if you want. That's pretty much how Mercedes operates. And we get the approval. I was like, do you want to take first spin one more time? Like, I'm really trying to get it out to this at this point. We drive the car around the block. She's like, I got to do this. She's like, I need this car. I said, they are more. Yeah. Like, she's like, we got the approval. She's like, I'm doing it. And I was like, why? I said, ma'am, this is going to eat up what's to be with the e-cup. She goes, because the haters will see me pull it up in a Benz. And that was like a massive cultural shock for me. If going from Hondas to Mercedes, where it's like the majority of the Mercedes clientele just want the prestige of.
You don't even understand. Like, you go to like Eastern Europe, you look, not to throw out races here, but like Albanian, Serbians, like, you know what I mean? They'll make money. They'll live in a shit apartment. They'll have a shit self. They'll have a nice Mercedes. We'll have a nice, and I know a ton of guys or valets here, I'm not gonna drop in, but like, they got a nice Mercedes, like a dumb car, or an Audi, or a BMW or something like that. But then they don't have any money left over, and that's it. So like, even in India, they don't have like Lamborghinis or Ferraris like Alma Rose. Like, the roads are just not good. And you want status, it's a Mercedes. That is the status. There's no. Who knows Pagani? Who knows Bugatti? Who knows? Like, you go to Miami, like, Mercedes is common. Mercedes is very normal. A G-Wagon is very common. But so people are looking at like Koenigseggs and like hypercars and like Bugattis and this, that. In India, you got a Mercedes or a BMW, you made it. You have made it. You have a GLE, bro, you're big dog. And it's a big status symbol there. That's crazy, because the way that Hondas and Toyotas are made there too are different. They're not the regular Honda Toyota here. They're more luxurious. They're more expensive. And I think to get a Mercedes in India also, it's more expensive for the same type of models that we have access to here. So it's a huge status symbol. It's a culture thing. Like, you might look at it as a very regular thing, but 100% people in the hood, people would rather have an old beat-up Mercedes than a new Toyota with money in their bank account. It's insane.
It's weird, and that's also why I believe that Mercedes is the best brand, because whether you just want to, you've seen in a Benz, or maybe you're a business owner, you get a Sprinter. Maybe you're a mega celebrity like some of these athletes at Maybach. You get a Maybach. It's I just said this. So you'll get in a lot of trouble if you go to a dealership. It's Maybach. Is how this. It's so pretentious, but yeah, there's a lot of different options for people if they want a Mercedes. G to truck. Well, you can get a GLS, hold all the seats down. I have sold people who own multiple real estate properties in Cleveland GLSs, and they use it as their work truck because you can fold all the seats down.
The Maybach GLS, which are just the regular.
Just a regular GLS. And so there's so much practicality with the red. Just kind of.
That's another underrated car, I think. Maybach GLS. Because that car is loaded with tech. It's probably arguably one of the most comfortable cars you could be in. They're now available. You can get them on the Lowe's for like 90. Like,
that's why they're so unpopular, is because they just drop like a rock. Because there's an interesting thing when you get into the type of wealth where it's like, I can just go in and buy cash for a Maybach. And what you ran into is those people will go to events with their friends who also have Maybachs, and they'll start comparing them all a year. Because what else do you compare? If I drive a Maybach and you drive a Maybach,
just who has never flown.
Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll go, oh, I have a 2654 Maybach. And they'll go, well, I have a 2025. And then they go, damn it. And then they go run to the dealership.
They sell it
right away, and then they get the new one. And if you have the money to buy a Maybach, then you sure as hell don't want to buy somebody's used Maybach.
Yeah.
So the only way to make a 2024 traded in Maybach with 3,000 miles is appealing is if you sell it way under the market.
Yeah.
So that's why they just drop like a rock. Because the people who are buying Maybachs just want the newest. They don't care what a Fiat you want.
I also have a theory about this, right? So I was looking at Maybachs actually comparatively to the S63 because I'm like, okay, like why not look at everything? I'm looking at the multiple cars, right? And I see Maybachs that are very cheap with a lot of miles on, like 60,000, 70,000 miles. Like, and I'm like, just looking at them, like, this is crazy. But I'm like thinking, like, would I ever buy this thing? Like let's say the engine is reliable and like I won't have any problem. I probably wouldn't because people lounged in that car for so long. Things have happened in that car that you probably can't even think of. Like even like nice sports. I mean, this guy's definitely hooked up with a girl. But something is definitely 100% happened. He got in the head, like something has happened. Yeah. There's no way that this has not happened. So I have a theory about that with like really, really nice cars and they have miles on them. I feel like the guys that are like myself, I'm going in there, I'm like 60,000 miles in the car. Like what has transpired in this vehicle in the 60,000 miles? It's not just daily driver, like nobody's ever been back there. Like, things have happened in this car. People have been like broken up with, like, here's probably a ton of things.
Yeah, and so like that comes with perception as well. Like, why does these really nice luxury cars depreciate? Well, because who knows what hell happened to these cars. And I've taken lunch, like nice cars in on trade and found bags of things and just weird items that they forgot. And like the next day we get a call from someone like, hey buddy,
Jen,
real quick, if you
can't anything in the car.
Yeah, there was like a purple bag
behind ashes.
Yeah, things like that. And yeah, ammunition I've seen in a ground rail back before. Yeah. They're back at bullets.
No, it's nuts. What's one car that people should stay away from? Overhyped.
Overlight? Well, it's like, so the thing is, like, with Mercedes, too, there's so many cars that are, like, super nice, but you should stay away from that, or you say all depreciate, like, all their sports cars.
When it talks about depreciation-wise, I mean, there's probably one car I can think of that depreciates hard, and that's probably the Bentayga. But the Bentayga,
I would stay away from Aston Martins. I would stay away from...
They depreciate like crazy, too.
What's their SUV called?
The DDX.
Yes. Do not like those.
Those are cheap, too. I looked at those, too. Yeah. And I noticed that people had a lot of problems with them.
I saw a dealership taking $100,000 off of them just to try.
They're AEK now. 70... You can get them for like 70-ish if you're looking for the right places. I don't even know what they go for auction, but those are like very, very high-priced MSRP vehicles.
Yeah, and when you see a dealership taking $100,000 off a $200,000-$300,000 site wrong, something's really wrong. You should probably stay with you now.
Well, what are the issues with it? I actually don't know.
Aston Martin has a reputation of being a sexy sports car in James Bond film. Yes, and so no one wants the SUV. It's just supply and demand, and Aston Martin is right in the sense that most of America, like 80% of America drives SUVs. They want us. Everybody wants SUVs. So if I was a car manufacturer like Aston Martin, be like, well, clearly people want an SUV for me then. And so they did it. And everyone was like, no, you're the one person we don't want an SUV or don't do that. And so now they're screwed. But it's really interesting because Ferrari made the SUV, right? For Sangue.
Technically, yeah, like they're technical SUV, yeah.
Yeah, it's their answer to the SUV question, and then they reveal it, and everyone's like, "Boo! That's terrible. That's ugly. That looks like a Mazda. It doesn't look like a Ferrari." And yes, I remember this. Yes, and then it comes out, and people are like, "I need it right now."
Yeah,
And have you ever been near one?
yeah. I've been in. My buddy has one, and it is
Amazing! It's
crazy.
the coolest thing. Suicide bats. Yeah, it is. It is like the coolest thing. I would kill for one though. And I'm a big fool for branding as well. I'll guarantee. I wish I wasn't. But with the name like Pure Assembly, I'm like so.
stands for pure blood, right? Yeah, or pure sport, pure blood.
I think it's Pure Sport. I think Pure Sport. And it's just like a cool date. I was like,
No, they're very nice cars. There's a few like on my street all the time in Miami, and they look crazy. They're like,
I just think it's interesting what one company makes an SUV, and everyone's like, ew. And then one company makes an SUV, and everyone's like, I need that. Right.
well, Lambo killed it with the Urus. They murdered it. Oh yeah, they made a ton of money with the Urus. It's like I've never seen those were flying off the shelves. Though. Like Uruses were crazy. I think they kind of messed up with the new one with the design because I think the old. I'm not a big like. There's people out there that are consistently like, oh, older cars look better. With the Urus, I think it does. I think like the 2019 to like up until recently, they look better. They look more aggressive.
Personally, this is kind of what I said. I'm actually a bigger fan of the previous gen Mercedes technology because everyone's getting away from button.
I love buttons. I love buttons. I love buttons.
And so, like, the new Porsches, they're going away from the buttons. And it's like, oh, that was the last.
But in the Urus has the dual, and it didn't get glossy. You touch it, it's not. It's not.
The screen in my car is literally impossible to keep clean. You
need a microfiber claw.
You can do that, but by the time you get home, you wipe it down to that. It's just like I do this buttons. And the second Mercedes I had, they had this really cool, really satisfying little metal wheel. It was like this big, and you would roll it up or down to raise the volume because it's very satisfying click and it's very tactile. You push it into it, and now it's like a weird touch screen like this to raise up and down the volume.
And all the EQS on all of them now. Really?
Now there's no more quality. There's no wheels anymore. Everything's
Don't they have the wheel with the buttons at the side? Oh yeah, they do in the middle. They have the volume. It just depends on what car you have. Look, sometimes they're in the they're like right here and
but on your new S63, there's going to be on the steering wheel. You can raise your thumb up or down to raise a little volume, and then on the screen there'll be a dial as well.
Yeah, I hate screens. But people protested the G-Wagon, for example. Like, we need touchscreen. We need touchscreen. I'm like, dude, I don't want touchscreen. I don't like touchscreen.
Yes and no, because there's also the standpoint of like the tech in there was really cool and really easy to use for real and everything. But also when you spend $200,000,
You want touchscreen.
and someone gets in the car and like, hey, can you change the channel? And they start touching the screen that doesn't move.
Doesn't move, yeah.
You're like, like it's so weird because it goes against everything that we've been trained as a society. Like all of our devices are touchscreen. Yes. So when you see a big screen sitting there like this, and you go like this and it doesn't do anything.
Imagine you go back in time and like someone's like you touch the screen and they're like, what are you doing? Yeah, like wait, there's a remote, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So it just everything is like we're programmed now that everything's touchscreen. So, yeah. But in my opinion, I do kind of a little bit better like previous gen technology, and there are rumors that the next gen technology is supposed to go back to a little bit more tactile. So
I think that they should go back to buttons because personally, like, it's just easier for people. Like, it's quicker. It's like to change settings on ventilation and stuff. Like, to go through multiple menus and to go here and go there, and then, God forbid, if you have tech issues. Like, the big issue that I have with a very highly developed cars is at 70 to 80,000, you're not always, but you're going to start experiencing some level of tech issues. Some things can go wrong.
I would argue much sooner than that.
Yeah.
I mean, as a society, we pretty much figured out how to make a freaking engine at this point, right?
Yeah.
Now, everyone's like, okay, who can have the most techie car? And so your engine, for the most part, is pretty much going to be fine. If you have an engine problem, it's probably the battery. Because the battery is charging all those LEDs in the car, all the screens, the massaging seats, the cooling seats, all that's all technology. And there's this big rat race to be like, who can get the coolest tech first? And so that you had all those tech problems. Like, I swear in my life, I couldn't lock to my car before because it has seamless door handles. And it's an automatic, like, blocking system that you just gloss over a mini screen and it locks. And I just am like, I can't get up now. And then you kind of have to, like, reboot the car. Yeah. And then you put out of the car. So it's weird like that, where something like your S63 is prone to battery issues.
Yeah, because I mean, it's using it for power as well to like a large degree.
And I'll give you a really good piece of advice. You never, ever, your cars can say a plug-in hybrid for the tech strip.
It's got like 15 miles per.
Yes. Yeah. Never plug that car up to edge right error. Why is that? It was not designed to be plugged in. So if you had
AG recovers power from.
Yes. If your battery is drained, go put it in its Sport Plus or the Race Low and drive fairly aggressively for about 5 minutes. You would charge that battery. I swear. And when the incentives were for electric vehicles, it was, do you plug it in or not? And if you plugged it in, they give you 75 cents out off. If you didn't plug it in, then they didn't consider.
So Mercedes created that too.
Yes.
Which is pretty much ending this month, right?
Yes, I think it's done now.
Yeah.
Yes. So that will ruin the EV market, but in a really good way, because you need to just, like, there's so much incentives. Like, these cars are so heavily incentivized. Like, my car, I got, I think I got 30 grand.
Yeah, your car, they didn't sell too well, did they? That was the EQS. So surprisingly, I thought that was like the coolest car when it came out. You know, in Miami, they had like the two-ton EQSs. I think, yeah, those are crazy.
Yeah. And so now that there's so many incentives on these electric cars, they get them for such a discount. Well, so you then run into the same couple, like, hey, you could buy a new EQS for 80 grand. So why would I buy a pre-owned one? When the new one is so attainable, why would I buy a pre-owned one? Well, the only way you buy a pre-owned one is if it was 40 grand. It was such a better deal.
Yes.
So that's why these EVs depreciate so much. So when we stop incentivizing the new EVs and they're a really bad deal, well, then that will make the pre-owned EVs actually hold their value. Which, in turn, yes, it'll become more expensive to get EVs, but that's a good thing in the long run. We just need to stabilize this super volatile market if we're going to continue down the EV route.
Let me ask you a question before we wrap up here, and this is a big question that a lot of people ask. Financing or leasing? What is better? I know this is I know we both know the ideology behind it, but I want to hear it from you. People always ask me, should I lease a car or should I just buy and finance it?
There's almost no circumstance where you should finance cars. Always just lease. You're only paying proportional car that you use, and usually, I think what we're talking about right now, and cars in general, depreciate. Like, pretty much every economy car will depreciate, so just lease it. That way you're not responsible for that at the end. And especially the Highline car, like the Beamers and the Benzes, especially the Audis that we're struggling right now. Just lease the car. I made the mistake of financing my last Mercedes, and if I had the choice, it was a C43 Coupe. I've ever seen with those. Yeah, I've seen. It was awesome. It was matte gray. It was style. It was awesome. But I financed it, and so I was so upside down in it. And it came time that the brakes and the tires were going to be due. Like a typical Mercedes client, I was like, nah, I'll get a new one. And so I got a new one, but I was so negative that I had to buy the electric part to eat up that negative equity. So I leased it. So literally next year, I will have zero negative equity from the electric car and zero negative equity for the C43. It'll all be built.
The only thing that people say, okay, to combat this, right? Play devil's advocate. But I don't own anything at the end of the day. I don't own the vehicle. Why not pay off like a mortgage, like a house, like renting and owning a home? Theoretically, not even, I love renting. Okay, personally, because I like the ability to me it makes me more money. Personally, and I know you understand this. We've talked about this, but renting for me makes a lot more sense because at the time in life that I'm at right now, like I don't have a family, I don't have kids. I don't need to be anchored down anywhere. So if I need to get up and go, I can find someone.
Sure, yeah, same principle with the car, but
yes,
in 2 or 3 years you use get a new.
But people are very hard on the mindset of why not own it,
Because, like, why you want to own it though? would you feel better about yourself that you own all the vehicles, I own all these cars? That is that the only reason? Because it's like you're going to own a car. So say the loan is for 80 grand, you pay it all the way off in 2 years, and now you own the car now. But guess what? You just spent 80 grand, and now the car is worth 60 grand. So it's like you spend all this money to get a little piece of paper that said, "Good job, you gave us a lot of money," and now you get a car in turn that's not worth.
What situations would you finance it, or like logically?
You could finance things that we know are going to be like a pretty safe bet, like a G-Wagon, just so that you can get that flexibility. So if you get a G-Wagon, I feel like I cheat for mentioning it, say 3 cars. But if you get like a G-Wagon, you can finance that car because you know in like 6 months you're going to trade it towards your next G-Wagon anyways. So there's no reason to get stuck in a lease where you'll be contractually obligated for the whole term.
That's when they open their eyes up. When I was getting a new G-Wagon, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, I already have one. They're, oh, yeah, trade in for when we get the new one. I'm like, yeah, that's when they like bump me up and everything like that, because they're like, we just want to have something, because they know they can make a ton of money on the G-Wagon, because they're just...
So do you know the real reason why they do that, though?
No, I don't.
So the real reason any dealership forces you to trade one car to get the same car is because they will get more allocations.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if I was a dealership and I wanted to get more G-Wagons for Mercedes, I would need to sell as many new ones and as many pre-owned ones as possible.
Because it shows up as you're selling more of them, and then that means like, hey, Mercedes, I've sold 5 G-Wagon, but I've only had 3 order. It looks better, and then you're looking at more, you're becoming more of a G-Wagon dealership.
Yeah, and they'll keep getting G-Wagons. So that's why a lot of dealerships are moving away from charging over endless key, and what they'll do instead is force you to trade a G-Wagon towards a G-Wagon, and then they'll kind of screw you on the trade in a little bit and give you a little less than what it's worth so they can make their money somewhere.
Yep.
And then the other thing that they'll do is if you don't have a G-Wagon, so the first thing they'll do is they'll put you at the end of the line. Then what they'll do is while you're waiting to get up, they'll make you buy another car that they want another allocation.
Yes.
So, hey, you need to buy a car from you, one of these S63s or whatever it is. So eventually I'll give you a G-Wagon if you do that, but then they're also going to get another G-Wagon allocation because they'll have sold a G-Wagon. They'll get another allocation for the S600 free, and then they'll get another allocation for another S63 because you trade that one that again. And then they're going to sell that one again. So out of you, they'll sell that same car twice, and then they'll sell a G-Wagon as well. So now they get free allocations out of you.
That is very interesting. I never knew that.
That's especially Porsche. That's why Porsche does what they do. You know, like Porsche will be like, you have to buy this before you do that. Well, now they get a new allocation for all of those because, like, when I can prove to a manufacturer that I sell this bar, I'll be like, you Porsche. I'm like, hey Porsche, I just sold 3 911s and a Panamera, so I need my stock back. And if you continue to do that, they'll start giving you more stock than what yourself.
And then you're able to make, because, I mean, all of a sudden, like, they murder it with, I mean, out of here, they murder a TP wagons, right?
Exactly. Because they just have some of the allocation.
And they're smart with how they do it because they pull it back in.
Right.
Very interesting. No, learned a lot today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. How do people find you and connect with you? And if they want to do business with you, if they want to buy a car from you, where do they go?
Well, I'm not so part of it anymore. So... but I'm on TikTok and Instagram as Jareth. What I do now is we actually go around and train car dealerships how to do social media.
Fire.
And we had like a pretty repeatable process to make pretty consistent, like viral videos that we do at dealerships. So just because by the time that I stopped selling cars, I was generating almost 200 leads a month from my social media. So a lot of dealerships pay a lot of money to have their people advertise for that.
Because they don't have to focus on lead generation paying. And
Do you know how much dealers pay a month for radio ads?
no idea.
$10,000. It's just for the radio.
Yeah.
When's the last time you used the radio? Exactly. No one uses that.
Yeah.
So what if they had a situation where all of their salespeople were there all the radio ads? And the cool thing is when you're on social media, as you know, it pays you.
Yes.
So there's a situation where I can market myself, get paid to market myself, and through marketing, I get a more effective way of getting leads.
Also, if you ever decide to leave and decide to say, hey, I'm going to go and piece out to this dealership, you're actually more valued as a salesperson because you have that, because you're like, hey, I can bring in organic generation of leads if I go to BMW or Audi or wherever.
Right. I mean, we travel all around and go out to dinner with owners of dealers, and they've told us now, they're like,
if you're a guy who's never sold a car before, or maybe you even sold cars for a year, where you have 100,000 followers, and then you got one guy that sold cars for 10 years,
Has no followers.
we're picking the 100,000 followers.
If LeBron goes and decides to sell, he is tomorrow. Done. Like, he's going to be the best salesperson just because of this.
This guy, people not be it.
So how does that process go? You don't let me ask. And like, how do people connect with you?
Honestly, we just do it all through social media. We're teaching people how to do social media. And we're generating leads from social media. I answer all of my DMs. I'm sure you get a lot of DMs.
Yes.
It's not easy. It's like the easiest.
We just allocate time during your day to respond to it. Like, I mean, I take a period in the morning and then period at night. And then obviously we have like primary, general, unread. We have those tabs that we can. Instagram's the main thing.
Yeah. Instagram, like you message fans. Instagram's great. Instagram is way more reputable.
TikTok is easier to build a big following, and Instagram is just more reputable. Like, I've only been on Instagram since January.
Wow.
And I started doing TikToks August of last year. So to build where I'm at, I'm proud, but I wish I was on Instagram the entire time because it is just
Such a better. I was also late to Instagram. Like, I started Instagram aggressively probably like a year and a half ago, and I've been on TikTok for about 3 years. And TikTok, yes, you could build up a massive audience, but the conversion mechanism for that audience, because the thing about TikTok is like people have a TikTok and the people that post are content creators. Like, that's it. Like, your regular mom and aunt and pop will post on Instagram, hey, we went on this family trip. They'll never post that to TikTok. The people that are creating content on TikTok are genuinely, like, for the most part, they're trying to become content creators, and they understand that. They're not updating people on their lives. So, oh my God, let me post this TikTok so Sarah and Michael can see.
Well, the other thing too is it's an age thing, right? Like, your parents are probably more likely to be on Instagram than they are on TikTok, and that's just the general thing. Is that there's just people who are older on Instagram, and usually older people have more light.
How can people find you if they want to, number one, learn how to do social media from you? What's the best way to contact you? Instagram?
The only things in my bio is there's a link, but my actual bio is just my email. So the best way is to email me. That's where I see the most, or DM me. I respond to all the DMs. Like you
Very quick.
DM me. So
Very quickly, yeah. So appreciate you being here, man. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you.
Shout out AMG Jared. AMG Jared on all social media profiles.
Yeah. Well, technically on Instagram, there's another AMG Jared, so it's like official AMG Jared, but yeah.
The official one.
But if you type in AMG Jared, it's the only one with an actual following. So
Cool. Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Guys, check out the links down below if you ever want to connect with us. I'm going to link his stuff as well. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to be here. Till next time, peace.